Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Mike Washington's out on assignment still, or at least according to what I'm hearing, he is getting it done. We'll check on and see what the whereabouts. I'm not sure if he's still stuck in Atlanta, having such a good time. You know, he really gets it in when he gets it in. You see Charles Bishop, he's out doing some Christmas shopping, but he's going to try to get in here. Joshua Sims is out doing some Christmas shopping. He's going to try to get it in. So guess what? We got none other than clinical Professor A.D. Drew. He's in the building, so he's going to make sure that he weighs in as we navigate through the show. We got a jam-packed show with a lot of information we're going to try to get through and get to you as we move from football to basketball. So we're going to give you some updates. Week 0, if you would. Top 5 basketball major division for men's and women's. We have that. See what you think about that. We have the final poll release for the major division. We know what that's about, but we're going to give that. And also we have a final release of the marching sport top 5 poll rankings, top 10, if you will, but we'll present both of those top 5 because there's no changes with 6 through 10 in either of those polls. We'll give you top 5 there. We should have some big time interviews for you today, so we'll check that out. Without further ado, welcome to episode 350 inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast. The show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics, to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. We're filming from our home studios and sending a signal to KCH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper, and a beautiful home at Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. As most universities closed up as they get into the holidays, so happy holidays for everybody as you get out there and maybe get some of your late Christmas shopping done. Merry Christmas to those that celebrated. Happy Kwanzaa as we get into that next week. And just a great happy holidays. Be safe. As we know, this winter mix is coming in here for a lot of folks, so we'll see what that looks like as we move forward. Get in this mix a little bit. Let me go with you, A.D. Drew. How are you doing today?
Doing fine, my brother. Doing fine. Just being lazy, man, for lack of a better words. You know, off work for the next couple of weeks, and you know I can get used to this waking up, getting out to bed at 10 o'clock in the morning, bro.
I don't blame you. I get to see what that feels like tomorrow. I have snuck off and gotten up a little late. Didn't have to take Deuce in as his school year has ended for the Christmas break. But I still had to get in doing a little bit of administrative work. But that ended today. So as you see Charles getting that last minute Christmas shopping in, did you get your hand on the gift? Charles, did you get the good gift you were looking for?
I think I did. I hope so. Well, we better hope so. Yeah, try to get it in. Mm-hmm.
A lot of us out there are feeling that. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. I tell you, nothing like Christmas shopping in the gallery around this time of the year.
Once again, for the wife and the kids, man. That's all I need to know.
It's a madhouse. It's for everyone. You know, when you start a week late once you're been doing the celebration bowl, so now it's trying to get everything in before Christmas. So.
Right, because we had that long scurry of time where 5 days. I've tried to do some things a little earlier. I like the packages and I send them in, make some order. And the thing is just trying to hide it around the house to make sure that nobody can get their eyes or hands on it. So that's the trouble about doing the early shopping is you got to worry about people seeing what's going on. But, it is the life of luxury and how we do things around these parts. Today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THG Agency LLC. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting and educational consulting and data analytics. Let's get into some of this news of the day. I'll start it off a little late here, but we hadn't had a chance to really share it with everybody. And it was formally announced, NFL alumnus and MEAC Hall of Famer Quinn Gray named head football coach at Albany State. Albany is, Mike would make sure that we say it in that vernacular for those folks in that area. Quinn Gray Sr. has been named the 14th head coach for Golden Rams. Statement from ASU President Marion Ross Frederick. Albany State University excited to welcome Coach Quinn Gray to the Golden Rams family. His experience in coaching as a National Football League player and student athlete has provided Coach Gray with the experience and passion to lead the Golden Rams football team as a previous admission academic compliance liaison. He is also committed to academic excellence and student success. It is important that our athletes feel comfortable following a leader that will help them build character and perseverance on and off the field of competition. Coach Gray will ensure the tradition continues. We're looking forward to another winning season under direction, said ASU President Marion Ross Frederick. What are y'all thoughts on the hire there? Starting with you, AD Drew, what are your thoughts on that hire?
Hey, anytime a former Rattler gets a job, I'm down for it. Quinn Gray.
I like how you put that in there, Steve. That's a good job. Yes.
Yeah. Quarterback. I believe he was there when the Rack boys were there at FAMU. He was we had 3 quarterbacks at that point in time that threw to the Rack boys. So he was there. Ton of experience. Great opportunity.
Deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's made runs in the playoffs. But the fact that he's from the North Florida, South Georgia area should give him a great advantage in recruiting as he tries to keep Albany State as one of the premier programs in the SIAC.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm going to go to the next hire and ask your thoughts on this. And in this one, I'm going to give you Joshua. Delaware State selects Coach Lee Hull, the lead football program at Delaware State Hornets, coming out of the MEAC. I know you have your eyes all on that and knew what was taking place. Obviously, last stint, he was over there with Howard Bison. Delaware State University Athletic Director Alicia Gatson has announced the appointment of Lee Hull as the new head football coach of the Hornets football program, a former MEAC champion head coach. Hull brings more than 25 years of coaching experience as the professional NCAA Division I levels to the position. Hull will be formally introduced to the media and invited guests on Delaware State's campus today. That was December 20th, a couple of days ago there, in terms of what that looks like. University President Troy Allen was thrilled with Hull hire. Quote, Coach Hull is committed to our vision for the university and institution, committed to excellence and growth with a deep desire to dominate recruiting in the region and laser focus on winning on and off the field. We're fortunate to have him. Look forward to his leadership of Delaware State's football and throughout the university, end quote. Joshua, what are your thoughts on this hire?
Yeah, Doc, we talked about this a little bit last night on HBCU Nightly, and this mad dash in what we call now the MEAC North for the Maryland area, man, that greater DMV area, man, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and that hotbed of athletes that are coming out of that area, man. We went back and talked about the impact that Dr. Henry Frazier III made and when he was down at Prairie View and him going after that area and just how that area from a recruiting standpoint has continued to be great. North Carolina Central, our best offensive lineman this year from PG County, right in Maryland. So it was interesting to see, the hire of Coach Hall. One is a mad dash. I mean, Delaware State essentially, obviously being the most northern university in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, they have to pull from places that, and they have an opportunity to pull from New York and the tri-state area as well, but they have to pull those kids that are coming from Maryland. And so it is now a mad dash. You saw Delaware State took some steps forward as a program last year. The hire of Coach Hall will enhance those relationships they already have in the DMV and pull some of those kids that might be on the fence about Morgan, might be on the fence about Norfolk, might be on the fence about Howard, and he may be able to pull some of those kids to come up to Delaware State. That's not going to do anything but make the conference much deeper, and it makes Delaware State a much better program. And Coach Hull has a pretty good offensive mind as well, man. You know, I'm a fan of offensive-minded coaches.
Josh, let me ask this question, Josh, and I'm familiar with PG County, definitely in regards to basketball, but talk about the football that they play up there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can speak specifically to the most recent history for North Carolina Central, man. Two of our guys, you know, whether it's PG County or Baltimore, which from what I hear are two totally different countries. They're not even different areas, like two totally different countries from what I've heard. But, you know, two of our most recent professional football players coming out of North Carolina Central. One was from Baltimore. Mike Jones played defensive back in North Carolina Central. Ended up leaving for his graduate year and finishing his career up at Temple. Ended up playing in the NFL, and now is finishing up in the CFL. He's a CFL champion, Grey Cup champion from North Carolina Central, from Baltimore. Ryan Smith from that upper Marlboro area of Maryland. Same thing. And countless, many more players. You know, you can go back to guys like Stafford Brown, who's from that area as well, who played quarterback for North Carolina Central when we won a Division II HBCU national championship in the early 2000s. So it's such a hotbed for football. And you look at the coaches like the Damon Wilsons of the world. You look at the coaches like the Dr. Henry Frazers of the world. You know, Coach Kyle, who was there at Bowie State last year. Those guys know, man, there's some great talent, man. The DeMathis, the St. Francis of that area, like, there's some great talent in that Maryland, kind of from PG to DC. You know, my best friend from high school, he went to Wilson High School in DC. And he talked so much about how rough it was trying to play against schools from PG County. I used to be like, PG County? You talking about for basketball? He's like, no, football. So, you know, it's a hotbed, man, not only for basketball, but it also has a rich football history, man. And those guys play ball up there, man. They play real good football up there.
Yeah, I know Jackson State had a few guys from that Maryland area. Dejon Nugget Warren was one.
Nugget, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me finish up as we get back into SWAC. UAPB names Louisiana-Monroe assistant Alonzo Hampton head coach. The University of Arkansas Pine Bluff UAB director athletics Chris Robinson announced Thursday afternoon that Alonzo Hampton has been named the Golden Lions' 22nd head coach, bringing him back to his home state. Warren, Arkansas native, will return one of his previous coaching stops, having been the Golden Lions 5 season from 2006-2010, when he rose up the ranks all the way to defensive coordinator, as well as assistant head coach, special teams coordinator, most recently under Terry Bowden at the University of Louisiana-Monroe. Quote here by Chris Robinson says, quote, "I am extremely excited about the new era of the Golden Lion football program and Golden Lion Nation, and to all that it will bring," as he gets into that quote. Charles, what are your thoughts on this hire?
Looks like a great hire for UAPB, somebody who's familiar with the state. And as we know, Arkansas sends a lot of players throughout the SWAC. Southern comes to mind. They send guys down to Southern, Grambling, over to Tennessee State as well. And then you'll find some that are playing in the SWAC as well as at Jackson State and Mississippi Valley. But he's won there in the state of Arkansas. Very familiar with the landscape in regards to winning back-to-back high school championships. He's had this long career in terms of doing the college ranks thing, if you will, around various FBS schools. So he brings a wealth of knowledge to UAPB. So we'll see, can he bring UAPB back into the upper echelon, into the SWAC.
My favorite hires thus far in this circuit, this has been my favorite hire thus far. Coach Hampton coming back home to Arkansas. That's been my favorite hire thus far, man. And Coach Quinn Gray to Albany State was great too, but so far this has been my favorite one, Doc.
Good stuff. Great for sharing that. Last thing here before we get in this break, HBCU Legacy Bowl announces coaches for the 2023 game, which comes courtesy of HBCU Game Day. The Black College Football Hall of Fame announced the head coaches for the second annual HBCU Legacy Bowl. The CIAA and the MEAC, the SIAC and the SWAC will each be represented by its coaching staff. Both teams will have 2 co-head coaches. Players from the CIAA and the MEAC will make up Team Gaither. The team is named after legendary Florida A&M University football coach Jake Gaither. As you know, the coaches of Team Gaither are Richard Hayes Jr., Fayetteville State University, and Trei Oliver, North Carolina Central University. Players from the SIAC and SWAC will make up Team Robinson. The team is named after legendary Grambling State University football head coach Robinson. The coaches for Team Robinson are Chennis Berry, Benedict College, and Eric Dooley of Southern University. Pretty awesome to see what's going on there. The statement from NFL quarterback legend and Black College Football Hall of Fame co-founder is James Shaq Harris. We quote, "We are proud to have 4 outstanding coaches who exemplify the spirit, leadership, and tradition of HBCU football." Statement from Super Bowl 22 MVP and Black College Football Hall of Fame co-founder Doug Williams. I like how they put that Super Bowl MVP in there. Quote, "We're very lucky to have quality, well-rounded men to lead and coach our all-stars," end quote. The 2023 HBCU Legacy Bowl will take place on Saturday, February 25th, 2023 at the Tulane University Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. Partners of the game include Adidas, All-State Sugar Bowl, Coors Light, National Football League, New Orleans Saints, State Farm, the State of Louisiana, Pro Football Hall of Fame, Coca-Cola, and 15 and the Mahomes Foundation, Riddle, Home Depot, and Zebra Technology, to name a few of those sponsors that are getting it on there. With that being said, let's get into our first break. We'll be right back on the other side.
Support the Black College Sports Network so we can continue to provide you coverage. Go to myjbn.com/support and be a part of the Black College Sports Network.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember they can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Press the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball, So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is out on assignment. We have none other than Joshua Sims Sr., and he's extremely excited and proud as he would. I promised all you all I would get you this interview, work hard and home, and we got none other than HBCU champ, North Carolina Central, MEAC champion, Celebration Bowl champion. Hey, let's just do it right. The champ is here. The champ is here.
Congratulations.
What's up, fellas? What's up, man? How y'all doing?
We're doing well as he led North Carolina Central, defeating Jackson State, once undefeated, now one loss as they improved to 10-2, 4-1 in the conference races. They get it done and earn Dr. Cavil's major division football poll ranking for the final year as they are officially national champions. And I'm sure they'll get those accolades with many poll rankings. But they rose up the champion trophy. How you doing, Coach Oliver?
Man, I'm blessed, brother. I'm good. I just got one little problem. So focused on the game. I haven't done any Christmas shopping. So I'm trying to figure some things out on this end before wifey be in the transfer portal.
I know that well. I know that feeling well.
Coach Bishop was on the show late as he was trying to get back from doing some Christmas shopping. So many of us can relate. We're going to have to fight this frigid weather to make sure we're not in the transfer portal either. But in seriousness, obviously you got a chance to take a deep breath or whatever on the plane back as we saw that. But then all of a sudden you got the early signing period, Christmas around. Have you had a chance to kind of take a deep breath and just exhale a little bit?
Little bit, man. Little bit.
Good.
Signing day was a little crazy. We were on a lot of guys, and we signed 5. But those other guys that weren't quite sure. Things changed. The price went up after this weekend. So, some of those guys that we were on, some other things have opened up. So, those high school coaches that weren't answering the phone and returning phone calls, they tone is a whole lot different now.
It's real. That's what happens when you get that champion cigar. Shout out to you. It's real talk, though, in regards to how fast and how quickly things change. Well deserved. With that, let me go to you, Joshua. Go ahead and ask the follow-up question, please.
Man, one part of this is me just holding back the excitement, man, to have, one of my OGs on here, and inside of the North Carolina Central family. That's how we've done it. That's how we've always done it. The guys who came before us, we have the utmost respect. For us, when we were in that transition into Division I, they gave us a hard time, but it was for good reason. And so, you have to earn that respect. So, Coach, talk just a little bit about, the respect component, that we feel like now, being on the top of the mountaintop, that we feel like we kind of garner. I know we don't feel like we got all the respect yet, but, how does it feel now with us being on the top of the mountaintop, Coach? Having that respect when we walk in the room. I know for myself, I could stick my chest out a little bit more because of what your team and your staff did last Saturday.
Right. And I think, a lot of it is, folks just, they don't do their research. They don't watch film. And I like I said, over throughout the summer, I thought we had a really good football team. And for folks not to have us in the top 10, I thought that was very disrespectful. For South Carolina State to be picked, I think, 3rd after they won it last year. It's like, what are we doing, guys? But I said our work will show. Our work will speak for itself. And, we had a terrible game against Campbell. We lost to South Carolina State. We just played bad against South Carolina State, man. I can't take anything away from those 2 programs. We lost the game. But at the end of the day, if you just watched us play, I thought you could obviously see us getting better, throughout the year. And we had some playmakers. And, I don't ever want to disrespect my kids. And I always said we don't have that star power. We don't have the Travis Hunters and the Shadors and that. But, if you look at Pee Wee, our quarterback, or Mookie, our running back, or our whole entire offensive line, it's like, what don't these people see? What don't they see? And we had a press conference down there when we got there Wednesday, and they talked about the game plan and all this time we had to prepare. And I said then, we're just going to do what we do. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. Our philosophy here is to run the football and be physical. And we didn't do anything. We had a couple of little trick plays, but like our run game was our run game. And that's what we've been doing all year, relying on our big guys up front. And we're big and athletic. And a lot of times you don't see, that combination up front. But I don't have to speak on it, man. And that's not me. I ain't, big, I don't brag and all that other stuff. I try to stay as humble as possible. But, I think our work showed on Saturday. And obviously rushing for 270 yards. When you rush for 270 against the number one ranked defense in the country, I think that speaks volumes. So as of today, I don't have to say anything, man. Like you say, when we step in the room, folks know who we are now.
Coach Oliver, I know some of those polls out there. I just wanted to say, preseason, I had you top 10. And so you're looking at some of the wrong polls. Now, I might have had you too low. I'll say that. But I did have you top 10. So make sure you check out our poll and get it out there and tell them to put it in the media guide, because we certainly going to have you high next year.
Well, listen, if you ain't have us one, you were wrong too.
And Dr. Coach,
pull it up and show. I want everybody to see, because people get these short memories. And I know the ones you're talking about, and you're right. They were wrong for that. I just want everybody to know, tune in to us. We know what we're talking about. We had them up there in terms of number one. But I'll talk about preseason. We'll get that back up. Go ahead, Charles. That's a follow-up question.
Well, Coach, I want to say formally, as a Jackson State guy, Jackson State alum, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
You guys went out and you took the game to Jackson State. And I want to ask a little bit about the game plan going into this game. You mentioned it. You ran for 270 yards against the number one team, number one defense in the nation. What is it that you saw about Jackson State's defense that you thought that you could continue to run the football, especially they had great success against Campbell in terms of stopping them from running the ball?
Right. Well, I think people got scared when they see, first of all, the talent that Jackson had, first and foremost. And then secondly, when they load the box and play press man on the perimeter, a lot of folks just want to, take shots. Oh, we got one-on-one press, let's check and throw the fade. And so many times you see folks wasting downs. And I thought that was one thing that Southern did was, they kept trying to take shots. And now it's 2nd and 10. So our game plan was, to run the ball, even if it's an ugly 2 or 3 yards, let's take that. But I do know this, as a defensive coach, when you blitz, you don't have a second level to the defense. So if that thing hits, you back on the third level immediately. And the big thing that I saw on film was those guys do a great job. Jackson State's D-line of straining. Their second and third effort was amazing all year long. The hole would be there, and then you would see somebody fall off, one of those D linemen, into the gap and make the play. So, we really challenged the offensive line, like, yo, you got to strain. It's not about the initial surge. It's about finishing the block. And because if you take 1 or 2 steps and then, relax, they're going to fall off and make plays. And that's what I thought the difference was like our guys, tried to maintain blocks, stay on their guys and finish. And our running backs did a great job of getting to the second level. And the receivers were blocking on the perimeter. And that helps. And when you're a man defense, after that thing hits on the second level, you don't have a level to the defense. So that was the gist of it. I thought their secondary was unbelievable. I forget his name now. The other corner, number 4.
Nugget. Yeah, Nugget.
Oh, he's a dude. His technique, he's better. I think with his technique and fundamentals, I thought that he was and people are going to go at me about this, but I thought he was like a better player right now than Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is definitely far more talented, but when you see Nugget, ain't nobody getting on top of him or beating him on the inside and all that stuff. Once Travis understands the technique and just doesn't rely on his athletic ability, he's going to be unreal. But they're talented, man. They got a great football team.
Coach, take me inside what I thought was the play of the game, and it was the fake punt, because I thought sustaining that drive really wore down Jackson State's defense even more. But what did you all see? How did that play develop?
Right. Well, we talk about those middle 8 minutes. The last 4 the second half and the first 4. The last 4 the first half and the first 4 the second half. So we sputtered, and of course backed up. They're not expecting fake punt at that point. Once you get around midfield, everybody's talking about watch the fake. So you've got to be able to call those plays and understand that it's high risk, high reward. If we don't get it and don't execute, they're gonna get the ball on the 30-yard line, 1 first down there in scoring position. So we had worked it. We knew it was there. And we worked that thing all year long, and we just hadn't needed it. But shoot, I had another one for them too, though. I had another one coming.
I mean, you guys, you seem to play your hunches at the perfect time, whether you're talking about the fake punt or the Philly special, or I believe there was another play in the first half where you're able to get a big first down to sustain a drive. But I mean, it was a masterfully called game, and you dialed the right buttons at the right time.
Yeah, and when you playing a lot of man-to-man, a lot of times you don't account for the quarterback out the backfield. So that was one that, we had several of them dialed up that we had in our repertoire, but we hit the one early, the reverse pass to Pee Wee, our quarterback, and then, of course, the Philly special deal at that for the 2-point. And we've worked that all year. I can't, say enough about it. I will say this. I called all the offensive plays during the game. So my offensive coordinator, Matt Leone, I demoted him. He was just like coaching quarterback. So these other schools out here don't be checking for Matt Leone. He did that. No, but I mean, both of my coordinators, man. Courtney Cord, I thought his philosophy is stop the run. And if you can't run the ball on us, it's going to be tough to beat us. I don't care how many yards you throw for. I didn't think our secondary played well, but we played well enough to win the game. And again, I'm just joking about Leone, man. He was with me at Southern. He's a SWAC guy, and he was a quarterback coach down there when we were at Southern. But he was dialing it up. You're right about that.
Coach, before we get out of here, wanted to talk about how young you are and them being able to get it done. One of the big things I saw in that game is how many young players that made big-time plays in a big-time game. Last year, you were extremely close. People that, as you were saying, that were not really paying attention as they should be at North Carolina Central. That game was late overtime in South Carolina State, or you would have been in the Celebration Bowl last year. And then you talk about this year being able to get it done and finishing up everything in some ways ahead of schedule. With that being said, as just flashed up the preseason poll to show you officially that we did have you in that top 10. We see you had it too low, but we did have you top 10. I want to make sure you see that.
Alcorn, Alabama State, Tennessee State, and okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
I got all the AD's phone numbers, Coach. Don't worry. We see if we can get something set up in the future.
Hey, that when the coach should take receipts.
I'm gonna leave that alone, guys. But yeah, man,
this is the worst part. This is the top 5, so you can really get in there.
Okay, so I can honestly give you that one: Jackson, Fam,
and him.
I had A&M, Alabama,
and the school down the hallway, Coach.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you this right here. You were drinking the Kool-Aid, man, and I love Maynard.
Yeah, you were.
Right?
Yeah.
But they brought in 30 transfers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna tell y'all the funny thing, man. It's these high school kids. Y'all go out here and find these high school kids that have won state championships, that are captains on their team, that play multiple sports, that have over a 3.0 GPA. Good kids. How much you can win with them?
That's the secret to the sauce.
That's the sauce.
Hey, man, I got my phone blowing up about transfers. That's all I've been getting all day today. Nope.
Well, we're gonna give you the last.
Was he all conference in his conference? Was he all conference? He all conference, we'll talk. But like if you want to do, nah.
Yeah, growing. You said that earlier as we were doing those Monday morning conference calls, the importance of growing kids and developing and getting winners in high school. And obviously the special sauce has been proven it's in the pudding. With that, let me give you the last word. Anything that you want to get out there that we didn't have?
Oh man, I got the utmost respect for the SWAC. Jackson State, you know, I've had some battles with Jackson State, man. I've enjoyed all my time down there in the SWAC. You know, when I was at Grambling and Southern, and we had some battles, man. I had battles with Prairie View, and shoot, I'm gonna tell you this right here. When I was at Grambling and Frazier was at PV, I think that was the first time Grambling lost to PV in like 20-some years.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been through it. And
yes, sir.
I appreciate the battles with Common G's years and Coach Hughes' years and all that stuff. So I ain't got the utmost respect for the SWAC. I'm gonna tell you this right here. I'm gonna let y'all go. Sure. I was so disappointed, man. My dog, my man, Deion was one of like my favorite players ever growing up.
Mm-hmm.
My first pair of sneakers weren't no Jordans, like my first expensive pair of sneakers. They were some Deion Sanders. So we go down here, I'm like, yo, this the legend, this the GOAT, man. I'm about to gonna be able to kick it with him. Take a picture or two. And they won't nothing but shade the whole weekend, man. And the banquet, he won't even get up on stage with me and talk. He sent TC, and I love TC to death. He was at Central. The press conference before, he sent Flea. Flea's my man. You know, I battled with him at Howard. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn, Brian, show your boy some love. Pre-game, all the coaches, every coach I know go out and shake hands in pre-game in the 50. I'm staying out there, you know. Ain't no Deion. But it's all good. We shake hands after the game. Ain't no deal. I ain't lose no sleep by any stretch. But just a little disappointed, man. A little disappointed. But it's all good, man.
Real talk. Appreciate you sharing that. But as we get forward, it's going to be important next year as we get a chance. I'll be back in Norfolk for the preseason and be excited as I think a lot of people will have you number one next year. So it'll be interesting to see being up front. What does it mean in terms of trying to repeat?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. Like I said, you don't get rings or trophies for being preseason. They hand up things out the last game of the year in December. So we're not worried about where we're ranked in August or June, July, whenever it is. It's all about where we are at the end of December. But I promise you this, we're not going to be drinking our corn Kool-Aid and think that we're there. Next year's another year. We're about to put this thing behind us. And we're gonna be a better football team next year. I'm gonna be a better coach.
Enjoy your Kool-Aid.
I do like the fact
that's the Delta. I still got that Delta water, man.
I do like the fact non-conference games that you play. Some of those SWAC matchups coming down the Mississippi Valley. They coming up a couple of years ago. Now they coming up there this year. Maybe some other folks have decided to get on the schedule.
Hey, listen, and they wanted to move that game up to a classic. I think like in the Canton, Harvard Classic or something. They wanted to move the game to, man. I said, no, Valley got to come to the crib. They caught us slipping. They caught us slipping going down there to the Delta, and I'm gonna leave that alone. They caught us slipping, and they got us. Coach Dancy, great football coach, but he got out of there just in time. But they won't go move that game. They got to come to Durham. They got to come to the Nest, and we got to get that right, man. We got to get Valley. Got to come see us. Valley got to come see us. They got to get our face back.
I'm glad Dancy go.
You got to get our face back, man. They got to come holler at us.
Yeah, they got to come see us, man. I'm gonna get them some chicken for post game meal.
We stress this out. We won't never get him off. I appreciate you, Coach. Man, we'll have you back on whenever you want. You got the number now. Let us know whenever you want to get on here. I know you be grinding, getting your business, but we appreciate you sharing a little extra time with, especially during this time of year with Christmas.
Right. I wish Amazon Prime would grind like y'all do, and they could kind of give me a package in here by tomorrow.
Exactly. Smart move.
I see you soon, OG. I see you probably around February. I ain't gonna come see you in January. I see you around February.
Come on, let us, man. You got to come see us before that, man.
I'll be in January. You already know. I'll be at the School of Business, but I'm gonna swing on about a walk or two.
Congratulations, Coach. Congratulations.
Congratulations, man. This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll be right back after this quick break. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Coach Oliver. Champions, the champions.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, trying to get down.
Your ad could be ran here. MyJBN.com/support. MyJBN.com/support for more information.
The new GMC Sierra with hands-free driving offers the most advanced and luxurious pickup in its class. Yeah, it rocks.
From novice to aficionado.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, trying to get down.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Your ad could be ran here. MyJBN.com/support. MyJBN.com/support for more information.
The new GMC Sierra with hands-free driving offers the most advanced and luxurious pickup in its class. Yeah, it rocks.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop if you know 'em.
Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop if you know 'em like I know 'em. They gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Mike Washington is out on assignment, but we have AD Drew, clinical professor, and Charles Bishop. But we're so excited as we have the new head coach of Jackson State University, T.C. Taylor, 22nd head coach, to be exact. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Glad to be a part of the show. I'm getting geared up for the holidays, and I had a big day on yesterday, so I got a big smile on my face right now.
Yeah, let's get into it. Many of the prognostication of HBCU recruiting rankings, if you would, have Jackson State number one, big star players, a couple of 4 stars, 3 stars, a championship program, high school kids coming into with those rankings. Amazing in terms of what you were able to do. Talk a little bit about how you were able to navigate the space about coaching, switching, and still being able to hold on to some of these kids. And some of those kids that actually got in the portal, many of them came back as well.
Yeah, once the conclusion of the Celebration Bowl, it was all go time. And, for us trying to retain our student athletes and then getting that next crop of guys, geared up and ready to come in here. was trying, while at the same time trying to put a excellent staff together. So I knew the first thing first. I had to hit the ground with recruiting, myself and Coach O, with a couple of days coming before signing day, and still at the same time you got this thing called that transfer portal. So it was kind of a deal where we said, well, let's sit back and see what we lose, and that was the focus. We said we'll sit back, see what we lose, and then go back and as far as the signing day and dibble dab in the portal ourselves and try to fill those needs. And I think we did a phenomenal job of replacing those student athletes that we weren't able to retain, and still at the same time continue to recruit those guys that were entering the portal. We kept a good pipeline, good talk lines with the parents and those guys, and we were able to retain a couple key players out of the portal that jumped in it. So it was very productive couple of days for us here at Jackson State.
Yeah, I would say just a little bit. Charles, go ahead, follow up.
Well, Coach, and I don't know if I've had an opportunity to just say congratulations. I think I have, but congratulations again formally. But kind of walk us through that sales pitch, because it's very unique to re-recruit what you have on campus, and then also, you have to sell Jackson State to this new crop. But like, how does that work in terms of what it is you're trying to tell these guys?
Well, it is basically one thing that was in place. You had a couple, myself and Coach O in place. The head coach was in place. So I had to sell my vision and the plan and how I see Jackson State here in the future. And that was the main thing. I tried to get on the phone with as many parents as I could. And they're all about making sure their kids are taken care of. As far as living, and they're going to be developed. And that was the main thing. Let's attack the parents in this process. And I thought myself and Coach O did a hell of a job of just going after the parents, letting them know, your head guys in place, as far as trusted me to get a staff in here that's going to be, unbelievable. So those were some things that we targeted, and I thought we did a good job of it.
Eddie Drew, go ahead.
Coach, you just said something about your vision there for Jackson State. What we see the 2023 version of the Tigers, how much of that will be what you see and what you envision versus the formula that Coach Sanders has left there and that has proven to be successful in the SWAC and for Jackson State? How much of that will be blended together for this new vision?
Well, it's like I told the team that going into that game at the Celebration Bowl, I told them Friday night, there will never be another 2022 team like that. Mm-hmm. We got to focus on our goals of 2023. My vision is to go out and dominate. Again, we always want to keep that mindset. I will say that will carry over. But we want to execute, put a good product on the field, and win the SWAC championship, and get an opportunity again to go and compete in the Celebration Bowl. But the most important thing now, like I said, we're taking it day to day. Right now we want to conquer and dominate in the recruiting game. Get our student athletes back on campus, get a strength coach, get our strength coach with those student athletes, and continue to develop them, get them ready for the upcoming season.
With that said, I want to jump in there and say, obviously, a lot of people know about your history at Jackson State and the accolades you had there, getting it done in a lot of ways. But you have been seasoned and waiting for this opportunity and seeking this opportunity to be a head coach, groomed as an offensive coordinator, and going through the ranks of coaching multiple positions and being all the way a coordinator, coaching in a championship game at the coordinator level with former North Carolina Central for oddly at that MEAC, and then back with Jackson State in a lot of ways. Can you talk a little bit about what you're going to look at for creating your coaching staff? I'm sure as you prepare and sought these opportunities, you have some names, but people change, they get into positions, so you still got to go back down that Rolodex over a period of time. Obviously, at this point, not able to necessarily give names, but at least give us the thought process of who and what you are looking for in terms of fulfill your coaching staff.
Well, I always knew this moment would eventually come. So it was all about the relationships building, in past years, meeting other coaches, going to the coaching convention. So I always had like a 5 deep. That's what I like to call it, the guys when that moment came, as far as being a head coach. it's all about the preparation. You don't want to let these kind of opportunities get on you. You're not ready. That's the worst thing that can, happen once you're labeled as a head coach. But I feel like I got a good group together. I can't really talk on them right now because we got to get some pen to paper, get some applications done.
That's right.
So, but I really feel good. We want to, like I said, continue to win and have success. I talk to the coaches about, continue to preach character, continue to play fast, continue to dominate games, things like that. We're going to keep that mindset, and, we're going to get these guys in here. And heck, like I told them, I was talking to all of them, a few of them today. I need some help. I need some help. I'm up here trying to put this class together and stuff. So try to take a little weight off my shoulders. So I can't wait till we get these guys in here. I'm excited about the group.
No doubt about it. Charles, did you want to follow up?
Yeah, I want to follow up in terms of some of what you brought in early, in terms of the names Seven McGee, Tristan Simon, and Bruce Mitchell. Just talk a little bit about what you are looking for and what you brought in thus far.
Like I said, Chuck, we went out and recruited need. With Seven McGee, with losing a player like Kevin Coleman in the portal. You had to get some more playmakers in here. You see some of the things that Seven did at Oregon. There's a time in high school he can really take games over and generate a lot of explosive plays. Anytime we lost a couple cornerbacks, so we had to go out and we're continuing to put depth in that room. But with a young kid like Tristan, sky's the limit for him. He walks around he's a very confident kid. He's a very confident kid. He believes that he can come in here and be dominant right now. And that's what we try to do. Like I said, fill need, but at the same time, we'll make sure the quality is good.
I have one follow-up question. You've been able to get to the Celebration Bowl a couple of times. Tell us, in terms of this new format, I know you're going to get back and do the final chapter, so it's not about that side of it. But give the fans that have been galvanized by this, why is this from a coaching perspective and what you see in the players' eyes, why is it so special?
It's the end game. It's the end game. You get to that point and get an opportunity to play in the Celebration Bowl. You've done some things right in the season. Because you're playing to get through that SWAC, to get through the season of a SWAC schedule, and then have to play a SWAC championship game, and then get to that one. It's the Mecca. That's that one that you kind of plan for. You can see it, but you got to take care of everything that's out front first. So to get that opportunity to play in a game like that, as an HBCU, to be on ABC, and those kind of viewer numbers, it's an unbelievable moment. And you're playing for a national title. You're the best of the best.
That's saying we'd be remiss if we didn't give you a chance to say anything that we didn't get to discuss. Go ahead and give us any information that you want to provide the viewers that we didn't ask you.
Just letting everybody know yesterday was just the beginning. We got another signing day coming up. We're going to get this staff put in place here in the next week or so, couple weeks, and we're not done. We got some more big names coming down the pipe here in the next couple of days. It's a lot of good players out there that want to be a part of what's going on at Jackson State. So we want to keep that momentum, continue to win games, and keep that excitement. Hey, continue to support Jackson State football and the SWAC in a whole as itself, because we're a brand that's steady growing.
No doubt about it. It's good to have you on, Coach T.C. Taylor. Wish you the best, except for maybe when you play Prairie View, Texas Southern.
Hey, OBC, Miami. SWAC game one for you, Coach. I hope you're ready.
Coach, I know you're the head coach of Jackson State now, and finally, I might get a chance to beat you now in golf. I might make it, I hope.
Hey, I don't think we get out there no time soon. It's cold as it is. But, hey, as soon as we get a little warm weather, we're going to get out there.
No doubt, no doubt.
I give you care. Honestly, Coach, I want to see you get it done. I want to see you, wish you the best. We've had a chance to really get to know each other, work with you, and I've seen the chase and the respect that you have in terms of the grind and the work that you put in to get at this level. So with that said, anybody that puts that work, I'm extremely excited when they get the opportunity, and I wish them the best. And I feel a part of that championship, as weird as it sounds, when I see you get it done at that level. So as the 22nd head coach of Jackson State University, Jackson State University, a lot of them say in that area, I'm excited for you, proud for you, and look forward to the future. We'll be right back after this great break. You've heard it from T.C. Taylor, 22nd head coach of Jackson State University.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Don't worry, Ma. We'll be there soon.
We? Is this the one?
Well, let's say I found the one who takes me to another level. Always stays calm under pressure. Most importantly, the one that helps me discover the coolest places.
This sounds wonderful.
Come outside, I'll introduce you.
They're here.
Definitely the one.
Introducing the all-new Nissan Frontier.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplify Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplify Development Services.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Bill with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Hope you enjoyed those two interviews. As you get into your Christmas break, we wanted to give you a little extra love and provide you the next chapter as you see what's going on. Championship head coach Trei Oliver, and then the 22nd head coach T.C. Taylor. Now it's time to get into some of these Final Poll rankings. You pretty much seen it. You know what's going on, but just for dexterity purposes, we're going to give you the top 5 part of the major division final rankings. We'll give you the marching sport. Then we'll get a little basketball. So let's let it run. Let's get in the top 5 of the major division. Without further ado, at number 5, get into that matchup in terms of who's getting it done there as we look at it. Those are your 10. We see Howard all the way up to Prairie View. None of those have changed. Let's get into the top 5 programs there in terms of the mix as we get into it. At number 5, you have Southern Jaguars, 7-4, 5-3, 81 points. They stay at number 5, bringing us to number 4. Have none other than North Carolina A&T State Aggies, 7-4, 4-1, 66 points at number 4, bringing us to number 3. Florida A&M, 9-2, 71, 93 points, 3 staying there. And number 2 is now Jackson State Tigers. They fall for number 1 after carrying it for 13 weeks, if you would. They fall in the Celebration Bowl in the season at 12-1, 8-0 at 99 points. Bring us to number 1 is North Carolina Central Eagles, 10-2 on the season, 4-1, 12 first place votes, all 120 points as they get it done and get to the 10-win mark. That's signature. Something about getting 10 wins over the last 10 years at the major division level that gets it done, as they are the 2022 HBCU Major Division National Champions, as we do for Dr. Cavil's 2022. Charles, you know this, and you've been pushing this hard, telling these SIDs to get out here and do the poll ranking. And you see just how clairvoyant we are. When we do our poll ranking, we're very serious about it. And it's eerie of how much our preseason top 10 really mirrors our top 10 in terms of at the end of the season. You might have a difference in terms of those top 3 programs in terms of who gets it done over a series, but in terms of those teams that will be in the mix, we always have it in line. With that being said, let's get into the marching sport. Wasn't a lot of change here as we get it done in the top 5. You see the bottom 5 there. They all remain the same in terms of those teams that were in the top 5. There were some changes in the top 5. Let's get into that. As you see, North Carolina Central Sound Machine Marching fall from undefeated 3-1, 1-0, 75 points. They fall 2 spots from number 3, bringing us to number 4. As we get in it, number 4 is FAMU, 4-1, 3-1 on the season. They do move up a spot as Central falls behind them. At number 3, you saw a little bit there, Southern Human Jukebox, 5-2 on the season, 4-1, 75 points. They also move up a spot from number 4, bringing us to number 2. Alabama State Hornets, Mighty Marching Hornets, are 4-1, 2-1, 78 points, 2 as they remain there. And the number 1, as they get through the season, not quite undefeated, but they get the big win in the Celebration Bowl, 10-1, 7-1, 90 points, 9 first place votes as they get it done and remain number 1 as they earn Doctorsville's first HBCU marching sport. The second poll ranking, they get it done as Southern got it done. So Southern last year, the Human Jukebox. This year is Sonic Bowl South. As we see, they get up to 10 wins in the contest. That's pretty significant. Anytime you get to that 10-win level, you've been doing a lot of march and a lot of winning in terms of your battle boom. So credit to the Sonic Boom South. Let's get into some of the basketball top 5 as we do week 0, starting it out pretty much before you get into conference play. We had some big tournaments, some matchups, non-conference, some big wins. But let's see top 5. Let's do the women first. Can we get into women first, or you want to do the men first, AD Drew?
Whichever one you tell me, sir.
Let's do the women. Chivalry's not dead. Let's get into the women top 5 programs. Top 5 as we get into the major division for the women. Let me know your thoughts as we get into top 5 there.
All right, here we go.
Receiving votes, North Carolina Central Eagles are 5-8. This is a ascending program. They've struggled over the last couple of years. I want to give them some credit in terms of what they're getting in terms of North Carolina Central Eagles. So fascinating. They have 3+ Division I wins on the early part of the conference, 5 wins with some non-Division I wins. They get it done as they're 5-8, receiving votes. Getting into the top 5, let's see at number 5, Tennessee State Tigers. The Lady Tigers over there, 8-5 overall, winning record 70 points, playing really solid, getting over 3 Division I wins early in the season, playing really good basketball. At number 4, as we get into the mix, moving forward, you have Jackson State Tigers, 2-7, played a strong schedule. They have a lot of teams that will not put them on the schedule. They got 2 Division I wins that puts them at the top. 1 first place vote, as you see, with 81 points at number 4. Bringing us to number 3, North Carolina A&T comes in here with a winning record, 6-5, 83 points. The Aggies, Lady Aggies, are playing some pretty good basketball. We'll see how they remain during the season. They have 2 wins over HBCU programs, including Pine Bluff, that are some of the teams that you probably want to keep your eyes on. They got a victory over them early in this season. Bringing us to number 2, getting the state. Morgan State Bears, 7-5, quietly with 2 first-place votes, 101 points. Very solid this season in terms of what they're doing. They have over 4 or 5 Division I wins, so playing really solid. Number 1 probably won't surprise anybody once you see their record. They already have 10 wins, 6-7 Division I wins, 10-3 on the season, 5 first-place votes, 114 points, looking really solid here. I will take a break here and kind of get your thoughts on this. Drew, any thoughts on the top 5 major division for the women? And then we'll go with you, Charles.
Yeah, Doc, the only thing is I know we have to do these December, early January polls, but I cringe when I look at a poll, especially a top 5 that has sub 500 teams, especially Jackson State's 2-7 record is not reflective of how good this team is and will be when they get into conference play. So, I cringe, but The only discrepancy I may have is just because of that record, I would have had to have put Jackson State 5, despite how good they've played in their non-conference season. Just because 2-7 just does not look good. I'd rather see that 5-6 team one step higher, just on aesthetics purposes.
I can see that. That makes sense. Charles, what are your thoughts? Top 5 women.
No, I give kudos to those teams that are above 500, especially when you're playing this November, December schedule. So it gives me, an eye to look towards something as we get towards January. But to echo what AD was saying, it's tough, because these teams that are playing non-conference schedule are better than what the record shows. And I think once we get into conference play, you'll see the strength of them playing out of conference and playing on the road constantly. They will be battle tested, if you will, as they get to conference play.
Well, let's get into the men's and see what they did in their non-conference rankings and see your thoughts on this. You might have some of the same thing, but you have some teams with winning records. Let's get into the top 5 in terms of who's receiving votes, and then let you know what's going on. You have Coppin State Eagles, 5-9 on the season. They have 4 Division I wins, including winning 2 or 3 straight, so they're playing some good basketball, as well as North Carolina A&T Aggies. They split in the Chris Paul HBCU basketball classic over there, if you would, challenge, as they defeated Texas Southern, but lost to Norfolk State, so they at 5-7. Let's get in the top 5 in terms of the poll rankings here and see what's going on here. Number 5. North Carolina Central Eagles, 6-7 on the season, 69 points, have 3 Division I wins in terms of what's going on, but they've played some challenging schedules, played a lot of games thus far as they get into conference play. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do. They should be at the top of the MEAC, but the MEAC is pretty tough at the top, so we'll see what that looks like. Bringing us to number 4 in terms of the ranking, you have Howard Bison sitting at 7-8. 73 points, ranked at number 4. Bringing us to number 3, as you see at the MEAC, getting it done. Grambling State Tigers, 6-5, 1 first place vote, 92 points. They've had some big wins, including the one that opened the season, kind of stunned a lot of folks, Pac-12. They did it again against Vanderbilt, but those are not the only games they've had wins. As you see, they've dug up 6 of those wins to get 6-5. Let's get into number 2 in terms of what that looks like. Tennessee State Tigers, 8-5. They got a couple wins over some HBCU programs and then some solid D1 wins as well. Tennessee State looks to be a problem in the OVC. It'll be fascinating. They were selected preseason number 2. Right now they're rolling 4 first place votes, 103 points, bringing us to number 1. None other than Norfolk State Spartans sit at 9-5. They went undefeated the second year in a row. They went undefeated in the Chris Paul HBCU Challenge. And they continue to roll as Norfolk State is the king of the castle right now. 6 first place votes, 115 points. Great article in previously what was the undefeated Aspire as you see it now. With that being said, starting with you, Charles, what are you thinking in the top 5 for the men?
Very interesting with regards to Norfolk State. I mean, they just have just a very solid program. I always keep an eye on what those MEAC schools are doing over there, especially in non-conference play. It's just a different brand of basketball. It's just fun to watch and see how they progress through the course of the year. But I tell you what turned my head this past December is the SWAC Pac-12 Challenge. To see those SWAC teams do as well as they did. I'm really looking forward to conference play and to see these teams duke it out week in, week out.
Yeah, those are some struggles, some teams that probably would have got into the top 5 or at least receiving votes. Prairie View in terms of Herb on HBCU night, he gave his top 5. He had Prairie View 5. A lot of it, what he saw with Washington State. Southern is looking really good in regards to that. And Alcorn, it has 3 4 Division I wins. They're not even. That just lets you know in a lot of ways how deep it is on the men's side and some teams that are playing some good basketball. Hopefully we'll start seeing a little more of that MEAC SWAC, North Carolina A&T, Tennessee State, even Hampton in the mix, give you some better indication of what teams and coaches want to see. You see competitive games. One thing about the HBCU Challenge presented by Chris Paul, all those games were close, including an overtime game, just to give you an indication of the maturation, the type of games that were being played when you talk about that, how that looks there. Even with Norfolk State having a great winning record when they came up against those other teams. They had some great matchups there. Eddie Drew, what are your thoughts in terms of the men on the top 5?
First of all, congratulations to the Norfolk State Spartans who had both their men and their women top the huddle report. You know that's hard to do. Number 2, I'll be waiting to see next week when you come out with the mid major polls, just to see kind of what the thought of your pulses are on the mid major polls. But the one thing I noticed is who was not in the top 5. Texas Southern, Prairie View, neither one of them in the top 5. So, just kind of interesting to see those traditional SWAC power names not in the top 5 on the SWAC side, but you saw the traditional names, the Norfolks and the Centrals, in there on the
great point
on the MEAC side. And that poll just aesthetically looked a lot better record-wise than the women's poll.
Great points. And you're right when you talk about Prairie View, Texas Southern. I think they'll be in the mix. As I said, Alcorn and Southern. What would be the Western Division as we're talking in football? Just think about what we've seen in terms of the Division I wins on that side so far. Man, that first week out of the box, you're going to see some great matchups.
A lot of rival games, but nobody on campus. That's the only thing I hate about the SWAC schedule.
Yeah, that's a good point, and people have kind of had some concerns with that over the years in terms of what that looks like. Let's get into the last one before we close out and bid people adieu essentially for this year. Let's get into the way too early top 5 football poll rankings, Charles. I want to see what I think people get a little kick out of this, but way too early. Let's get in there and put that up and see what people think about this way too early poll ranking. Receiving votes there. We got a couple of teams in there.
Give me a second, Dr. Cavil. I got to find the right slide.
No problem.
Keep talking now.
It's going to be the ranking over here. When you get into, it should be week 16, 12-22, way too early poll rankings. You're going to see that Prairie View is going to be some receiving votes. I want to tease it out a little bit about some of those teams that are in the top 5, what that looks like, and see where everybody thinks when you get into those top 5 programs at the bottom there. It's going to be some of them same type of teams.
We're ready, Doc.
Let's get into a team receiving vote. That's Prairie View. Panthers is 6-5 and 5-3 this season. Have them just outside of the top 5. Pretty good recruiting class. If you early signing, got some depth in terms of defensive line. In terms of the HBCU recruiting, we talked about Jackson State being number 1. Prairie View was in that list at number 10. So we'll see what happens in February, spring, who's out of the portal, and we'll get a chance to reevaluate this. But right now, they're outside of it. Let's get into number 5 in terms of that top part of that. Keep going to that one because that was what they were in there, but it was actually Southern Jaguars 7-4, 5-3 as they played in the SWAC championship game against Jackson. They are at the 5 as they close the season. They remain in the top 5 for the way too early. Bringing to number 4, Alcorn State Braves 5-6, 4-4. Disappointing season to a lot of folks, but they were still in the top 10 at number 9, number 4. What's interesting to me when you get into that, Charles, you know how I like to think about the scheduling. Alcorn will have Southern at home for the first time in 2 years.
Wow.
They also have Prairie View back at home in terms of a favorable schedule. Obviously, they got to go to Jackson, but outside of that, in terms of a pretty favorable schedule with what would perceive to be some of their toughest matchups, they do have them at home. They do got to go on the road to Texas Southern, so it'll be fascinating there in terms of what happened. With Southern getting Prairie View at home, Prairie View has to go on the road. They also have to go to Texas Southern, another reason maybe they're outside of the top 5. Brings number 3, Jackson State, as they close at number 2, little behind, 12-1, 8-0. You saw the number 1 recruiting class, so this could be a little more interesting thing. But right now, this early part, have them at number 3, falling off just a little bit. It makes it interesting because guess who's at number 2? At number 2, Florida A&M Rattler sit at 9-2, 71, first place votes. They have a lot coming back. Should be fascinating. A lot of experience, not a lot of change. So can they finally get it done in terms of the Eastern Division, play for a championship, and find their way to the Celebration Bowl, which they couldn't quite get done in the MEAC or the SWAC? So coming in, a lot of expectation. How will they handle it? Way too early. Poll rankings there. Let him get into number 1 as we get North Carolina Central Eagles. You had Coach Oliver talked about how young that team was in a lot of ways. So it looks like they may be a little ahead of schedule in terms of how they finished this season at 10-2, 4-1. But preseason, number 1. Starting with you, AD Drew, what are your thoughts in terms of the way too early top 5 poll rankings for Dr. Cavil's going into 2023 football season?
1 through 3, I've got to agree with 1 through 3. Obviously, you have to go with the defending champion, especially as young as they were. 92% of their roster is scheduled to return, or some ridiculous number like that. So that absolutely makes sense. And taking my FAMU bias out of it, just the consistency with the coaching staff and the players coming back, FAMU should be slightly favored in that game over Jackson State as of right now. Obviously, we'll wait to see what comes out of the rest of the signing period. 4 and 5, I'm kind of skeptical about 4 and 5. Alabama State, where are they at? Can't discount Texas Southern as long as Andrew Body is around. They have a quarterback. They may have probably the top returning quarterback in the conference coming back in Andrew Body.
One thing, I like that, and I think you were correct. The one concern is, remember, he got hurt, and he had shoulder issues, so there's some concern to see how he comes back off the shoulder. The only reason he had a little more pause. They got a big signing for a quarterback coming in, so it'll be interesting to see what they look like. And this is a guy that played pretty well from an FCS program starting as a freshman. So Texas Southern trying to load up, but I do see your point.
And Southern does not have a quarterback, so no quarterback is along with Alcorn. Neither one of those teams have a quarterback.
How about Southern and no quarterback?
So I have to drop. I really have to drop both of them out. Possibly put Prairie View in there, and one of those other 2 teams that I mentioned. So that's just,
man, they already trying to get to get your quarterback in the portal. Say he's going to Southern. So man, it's crazy.
Interesting.
Who knows? But I point well taken. I like where you went with that. Nobody out of the MEAC other than North Carolina Central.
Well, that's my thing. I'm looking. I'm like, and I'm going to throw a curveball. I think a team like Morgan State can work their way up into the top 5 because I think Damon Wilson is building something special there. So if there's any team, I think that's going to go out and attempt to challenge North Carolina Central, I'd be keeping an eye out on Morgan State. I think, Jackson State's got a big chip on their shoulder. So we're going to see what that team looks like in the post-prime era. And I think that could be some headwind going into the season, especially. I think the majority of the thought process is they're going to fall behind Florida A&M. Florida A&M is bringing back their starting signal caller, but I got to point out, in past 3-4 meetings, Jackson State has knocked off FAMU.
Yeah, that's before prime too.
Yeah.
I think and y'all beat us up there, if I remember right, in 18.
Yeah,
I think y'all beat us up there in 18.
Yeah, beat FAM in Jackson and at Bragg as well.
Yeah, last 4 games.
I forgot about the one in Bragg. I forgot about the one in Bragg.
Yeah. So, to your point, HBCU recruiting rankings 2023 per 247 to give people some excitement and how this may correlate with the way too early as we come to a close. At number 10, they have Prairie View, Tavon Alexander, Caleb Johnson with some of the big signings in that class. At number 9, Alabama State with Josh Daniels, Ethan Tookes, Tookes, make sure I get that right. At number 8, North Carolina Central, Markel Quick and Andre Mitchell. At number 7, Tennessee State, Demetric Crenshaw, Monroe Beard, and Romello Watson. At number 6, Southern, Darius Jackson, Cameron Foster. Number 5, to your point, Charles Bishop, Morgan State, Jaden Cofen, Keithan Gooden, and Todd Smith. At number 4, Grambling, Chantrell Key, Devin Samples. At number 3, Alcorn, Tyler Macon and Mario Blakes. At number 2, Florida A&M, Jaquez Yant and Kelvin Dean. At number 1, as we started out the show and told you about, was Jackson State, Stephen McGee, Tristan Sion, and Bruce Mitchell. So 2 of the coaches that we told you about have recruiting class in top 10. And so don't worry about it. HBCUs are certainly going to continue to muscle forward, and it looks like we'll be having plenty to talk about. With that being said, we want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. Well, we will be back next week, regular time. Obviously, we stop our Sunday shows as we get out of the football season, but wanted to say happy holidays again to everybody in regards to having a great football season. And before we tune off, Charles, you want to say anything to everybody in terms of the holiday spirit?
Yeah, definitely. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us into your homes throughout the course of the year. So very appreciative for that, and very appreciative of you, Dr. Cavil, for providing this platform, this space, Black College Sports Network providing this platform, this space to talk about this diaspora that we call HBCU sports.
No doubt about it. AD Drew, any comments from you?
First of all, I want to thank you, Dr. Cavil, for allowing me to be your producer on most of your shows, and for allowing me to come in front of the camera when I produce when the professors are out on assignment. So appreciate that opportunity. Want to thank Charles and Neely, those guys over at the pregame show, for doing that extensive coverage of what they have done for Jackson State University and HBCUs in general. Whether you're a Jackson State fan, whether you're not a Jackson State fan, you cannot deny the hard work and effort that those 2 gentlemen have put in there in Jackson to bring you the story of Jackson State University. Also, want to thank my partner Brian Fulford for being with me on the SportsWrap, for actually bringing me onto the SportsWrap and coming up with that idea. I believe that was 2017 when we started it. Oh my God, it's been too many years since we started that. And of course, the network. But for everybody who's out there, thank you for allowing us into our homes. Hope you continue to do positive things as far as HBCU and spreading the gospel of the good things that HBCUs do. It's going to be cold throughout most of the nation this weekend, so please make sure you bundle up and stay healthy and covered up so that you don't get sick and you can make it into the new year nice and healthy.
Amen. Thank you for listening inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues, as the closing statements were well said by both of you gentlemen. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Again, we want to thank you for listening, Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, AD Drew, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest in the news and bring in the new year. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's Dr. KENYATTHCAVIL. That's Dr. KENYATTHCAVIL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Twitter. That's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Twitter. Facebook and YouTube is Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles?
Of course.
Drew?
Lecture.
Dismissed. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy holidays.
New Year.
Happy Kwanzaa.